welcome back everybody to episode 3 of Marbella Championship, the podcast. Today we have Richard Ashton on the podcast, owner of CrossFit Marbella. Hello.
Hello.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about your role, who you are?
So I've owned CrossFit Marbella for 11 years and started out in 2012, found CrossFit a little bit before that.
Mm-hmm.
In terms, and CrossFit Marbella is its own separate entity, completely separate gym. But in terms of Marbella Championship, the competition, basically the origin of Marbella Championship comes from CrossFit Marbella. So that's where I met Sam, my business partner. That's how we got Sada, who's also a massive part of our team as well. All of the volunteers, a lot of the volunteers come from CrossFit Marbella. A lot of our team comes from CrossFit Marbella, and basically we're in CrossFit Marbella right now. So Marbella Fitness Event and Marbella Championship is based out of CrossFit Marbella pretty much. So back in 3 years ago, 2021, I think it was myself and Sam got together with the idea of putting on a competition. Sam had a little bit of history and a little bit of experience back in his home country of Iran, and I'd already participated in organising a couple of competitions here in Marbella. And we got together because we thought that we could do something pretty special, and we both shared a similar vision to create, sounds a little bit cheesy, but it's true, one of the best competitions in Europe, pretty much, CrossFit competitions. Absolutely. And that's what we've strived to do ever since. So we had our first competition in 2022, a partner competition in May 2022, and then in October 2022, we had our very first individual competition. Last year, we had our third competition in October 2023, and then this year we're planning to go even bigger and better. Obviously, is the plan. So we're permitted to talk a little bit about the online qualifier, aren't we? And give some teasers. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? So the online qualifier is basically, last year I think we repeated one of the workouts because it was pretty brutal, and we had a handful of people that finished it. I think it was, I can't remember specifically the workout floor, but it was devil press, floor, maybe burpees, etc. But anyway, it was heavy, it was intense. So we repeated because we only had a handful of guys who finished it the first time. So we repeated that one. There's no repeats this year. We've got 3 completely separate workouts. And we've tried to program the workouts basically so that anybody can do them, in terms of they can be done in a garage gym, they can be done in a really small gym, in a big gym, they can be done like in a group. In terms of, you could have like, say, a couple of guys going together, you could have 10 guys going together, racing each other, so to speak, and pushing each other along. And they should be cool. I don't want to give too much away now.
No, you can't give too much away, but we can definitely talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, so in terms of what we've got programmed is we've got one of the workouts is all categories do exactly the same. We've got one of the workouts, all 3 workouts pretty much are very similar in terms of there's not much change between Masters, Intermediate, Elite, and RX. Which makes it, I think, even more fun if you've got some guys who are doing it in a gym together. The stimulus obviously is the same, whereas the weights or reps might change a little bit. That should be the case. But they should be fun. So let's see. I think we've got like a slightly different plan for how we're going to release them as well. Which I think we'll get to in due course.
So different to the years before?
Yes.
Always switching it up with Marbella Championships. Speaking about switching it up, what about the locations this year?
So locations this year. So one of the things that we've tried to do is, our visions is to really to look at the bigger picture. Our vision is to incorporate as much of Marbella as we can, because we live like in a very unique area, and you've got a mountain 10 minutes away, you've got a beach 5 minutes away, and you've got so many amazing locations in between. So already in our first 3 competitions, we've tried to incorporate a few different zones, a few different areas. Sorry, last year we had the mountain, which was, we wanted to kind of set a tone for the whole competition. So we had what I think was, maybe a lot of people didn't enjoy it, but it was a really cool location for a mountain run, where you've got amazing view of La Concha, which is the famous mountain here. You've got you could see the sea, you could see Gibraltar. I think if it was
and on a good day, you can see Morocco as well.
You can see Morocco, which is pretty unique. So that was a big thing for us. This year, we're going to be slightly different. I think we're going to stay pretty much down this area, which is going to be the arena.
Yeah.
But the arena is something that I always visualized as would be an amazing place to have a CrossFit competition when I came here like 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough to be able to get in there last year. And this year, our plan for Marbella Arena is to make it an even better experience for all of the athletes. We want to try and fill it up a little bit more than we managed to last year. I don't think there was anything wrong with last year. It was just more so it was our first year there. So it was a lot to take on.
Yeah.
And but this year we've got bigger and better plans for it. Our locations, we're going to be very much beachside this year, which should be pretty cool because I think everybody loves the workouts down at the beach. But the workouts that we'll have down at the beach they'll be very different from each other.
Interesting. Let's hope the weather's better than today.
Exactly. Yeah. It's falling down, yeah.
So speaking about Marbella Arena, do you want to tell us a little bit about the story about how you first found it and how it's completely changed? And then first it was run down, it was not looked after, and then now. Yeah,
I think you've got a lot of the old bull rings in Spain. Sarah, when she comes on the podcast, can speak more about this topic a lot better than I can. But anyway, as far as I'm aware, a lot of them have been used over the years, obviously, for bullfighting, etc. And I think a lot of them, if they haven't been like as maintained as well as they could have been, maybe because I don't think bullfighting is as prominent as it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Then they tend to become like a little bit more run down. But Marbella Arena, because it's Marbella, and I think the plan was with the arena was to have a lot more events going on there, and events can be like concerts. I think there's been boxing events that have gone on there. There've been lots of different things happening there. So they Marbella spent a lot of money on the arena itself. So it's spectacular, really. It's in an amazing location, surrounded by really cool restaurants, bars, hotels, 5 minutes from the beach. And the seating's really nice. Around the side, you've got cafes, restaurants, bars.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I think everybody's ears will perk up now.
The guys who were with us last year, I think they loved it. It's kind of got like a bit of a special feeling to it.
Yeah.
And so but we think that we only touched on what can be done there a tiny bit. So our plan is to create like a miles bigger, a better experience in the arena. So yeah. That's we plan to stay in the arena for a long time if we can. Yeah, year on year. I
think that's what's so unique about Marbella Championships is that the locations are so out there and so different to many competitions out there.
Yeah.
And do you think the locations help your retainer rate, essentially? I think people coming back every year.
Yeah, I think the location, if we didn't have the locations that we've had, we wouldn't be who we are and what we're trying to be. And we want to be, and I think we are like unique in terms of competition because we're able to use the separate locations. For example, I think people come here for like an experience. We're not, because we can use the beach, we can use mountains, we used the football pitch last year, which was still cool. We're still pleased that we used the football pitch. It was a little bit further away than what we wanted, but in terms of logistics, we had to use it. The locations, I think that we've got are unique to anywhere in the world, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, that's about me too.
And that's what we really want to put up on, because the experience that we want to give is for guys who come over and for the Spaniards as well, of course, who are kind of maybe a little bit more used to these surroundings. We want to try and create an experience where people come here for like a holiday, not just for a CrossFit competition, do your stuff and then leave. It's like, no, I'm going to come for a few days before, bring the family, come with a group of friends, stay for a few days after to enjoy everything that's going on here. So the locations that we've got are unique, and in terms of the programming for these locations, the programming will be unique because of the locations as well. We've got some really cool ideas for this year, and that's I think like the really cool thing about our team is that we're not scared to try out new things with new locations and implement different style of programming while still trying to find, you know, the fittest person over 7 events or so, and just to give a really cool experience to everybody. So it's not just all super CrossFit workouts in one location.
Yeah.
You're going to be a little bit of everywhere doing slightly different things that maybe you can't do where you're based.
Exactly, yeah.
So
we'll touch more on the programming. Who does the programming? How do you figure out the programming? You know,
so I do like a lot. Yeah, I do a lot of the programming, but I think we've got a team, and you know, I've been like a little bit of a CrossFit nerd for a while, so I really like enjoy the programming. It's something that I kind of thrive on really. And if going back to the locations, if we were just a CrossFit competition that was in the same location, I don't think I'd be as excited.
Yeah.
If you imagine like the semi-finals is all in the same location, or super CrossFit workouts has to be, which is great. But I think because we've got these different locations that we can implement, I think for me it gets me really excited, and it gets like our whole team excited. So we come up with ideas together, and a lot of them we throw away, and some of them we'll keep and we'll use. And the guys in the background, like say Sam and Sarah, a lot of the time maybe I'll come up with an idea, and it's up to those guys to go and try and get it done. Because a lot of the time it's not just so much, okay, we want to go to this location and do a workout. There's so much behind it. We've got to get permits and permissions and have about a gazillion meetings and send like a trillion emails, and those guys are amazing at doing that. So the programming we spend, I think as soon as the competition's done, we take a little bit of a breather, and then it's like, right, we know kind of what worked, and we know what we want to try and implement next year. So, and obviously it has to be, you know, people come for CrossFit competitions, so we have to have, it's not just all running and swimming, etc.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
People want to come in and they want to be able to show off their hard work that they do in the gym by doing typical CrossFit workouts. So we try and have like a nice balance of that, whilst making sure that all athletes pretty much expect that when they come to us, they're going to be in the sea, probably swimming or doing something similar, or surviving, but swimming. And yeah, exactly. And probably some form of run, which, you know, I know not everybody's a massive fan of running, but at the end of the day, the locations that we've got, I think, make it a little bit more appealing.
Yeah, when you've got the beautiful mountains to look at, the beach, the sea, I think it changes a lot when you're running. If you've got a nice, lovely run,
exactly,
and it's attractive for people as well.
It is.
You know, it's definitely a selling point of the
that's a big part of it.
So you touched about how difficult it is behind the scenes. So let's talk about sandbags.
Sandbags, my God, yeah. Sandbags that keep you here for days, I think. But I think last year was, I mean, everything anything to do with this it all falls upon us. It's nobody else's fault, really, especially last year. So I think we had like a really cool workout last year, which involved swimming and a sandbag carry, and I loved the workout because it was two completely different movements, and the workout itself could have been won or lost on the swim or on the sandbag, because the sandbag was heavy and it was walking on sand. But after the work, and I think everybody in general loved the workout. It was a little bit of everything going on, and I think even just being down at the beach, you know, you got lots of people walking by, watching, spectators. It was great. So yeah, but the sandbags actually, so as we're a brand new competition, and maybe people think because we're in Marbella that we've got loads of money, but we really don't. We're kind of grown like everybody else does, and we only had a certain amount of equipment. But because how we did the programming, and because we've got individuals and teams, we had the sandbags on the beach, but then the sandbags later that day had to be taken to the football pitch, I think, for a team workout or individual workout. I can't remember which. But there was only 2 of us to move these sandbags off the beach.
And how many sandbags were there?
I think it was 18 sandbags. So, you know, the individuals had gone back to the arena, the teams were on the football pitch, or vice versa. I can't quite remember. But there was me and another guy, Alberto, shout out Alberto. He's
logistics manager.
Yeah, exactly. So we were carrying these 70 kilo sandbags off the beach, and honestly, it took me forever, man. And I think at the time it was like, say, 3-4 o'clock on the Saturday afternoon, so already we're pretty tired.
Yeah.
And stress levels are rising, if not like hitting their peak. But to be honest, I quite enjoyed it. It was a bit of a workout. It was like meditation, even though it was absolutely killing us getting these sandbags off the beach. But I think we spoke about it afterwards, and we were like, "There's no way we can do that again," because it just absolutely zapped us.
See,
and the race between the sandbags, getting them from the beach to the football pitch
for the next workout on time.
So but you live and learn.
You do. So. I think a lot of the athletes don't understand what goes on behind. They do the workout. Done, and then they don't just leave the sandbags on the sand.
Like the athletes, they come here for an experience, so why they shouldn't really care. It's up to us to be on time and to have the right equipment and to be ready to go. But it is quite funny when maybe some of them don't quite appreciate the work that goes in behind the scenes. It was a lot, but anyway, it is what it is, and I'm sure there'll be more experiences like that in the future. Exactly. But sandbags on the beach, we might skip for this year.
Oh, well, there's another hint, everybody. Yeah. So obviously that's one lesson learned: testing, trial and error. What other processes do you have to do in terms of testing, the demos? It could be from the workouts, planning for the. So
we've got, again, going back to CrossFit Marbella, we've got some really nice. We've got our members are really cool. I know every gym owner says that, but they really are there, sauna, and they're so happy to help. And actually, like the guys who are not competing, actually, to tell you the truth, what we do is we try and get our guys not to compete and to help us. Does anybody want to?
Volunteers.
We need volunteers, exactly. So we've got guys who are around the clock, pretty much willing to do testing, and we try and test as much as we can. We try and make sure that everything is covered in terms of tests for masters, intermediate, elite, RX teams, scaled, obviously. And we start pretty early, so we just finished the qualifiers, but I think we'll be starting for this year. We'll start soon because we want to try and make sure that we get everything as good as we can, Yeah. We got some guys. We got our guy Gabby, who's from CrossFit Bankai, just down the road, who's a big part of our team. Mm-hmm. He's an awesome athlete, elite level athlete, so he tests a lot of the elite workouts. Then you've also got Rob Green that we spoke to a couple of podcasts ago. Rob Green. Yeah, and he does some of the Rob, demo. He's cool. He's cool. So he jumps in, he helps out, like he's been brilliant. He tested some of the qualifiers. So everybody's really cool, everybody chips in. But we try and do a lot of testing, obviously, has to be done. To make sure everything's fine. Yeah. So also regarding the testing, you get quite a lot of requests from athletes wanting to help you plan the walks. It's more so like after the competition, actually. No, I think you've got everybody. I think everybody's quite like the workouts, man. I think so. Yeah. I hope so. Because there's a lot of effort that goes into them. Like, we try and create like a good balance. Yeah, yeah. And actually, we try and squeeze in as much as we can. And right now, it's usually 7 scored events, and we usually have a 2-parter in there. Yeah. To kind of add a little bit more segregation and a little bit more variety to the programming. Yeah. But no, people always offer like tips and advice and give feedback, which is always welcome. Really, it's not as if I think or we think that we've got it perfect and that nobody can teach us, better or different ways to do things. So we're always like ears open and willing to listen. Yeah, and if anybody did want to give you any advice, how would they do that? If they had feedback and they wanted to let you know. Generally, after the competition last year, I got like feedback straight after the competition for some athletes, and that's nice. It's cool. But generally, people can send us an email, message on Instagram. It's usually how they would reach out. Yeah. And I've got guys like a little bit closer who maybe I know a little bit more, who I know feel like in the game a little. And they're a bit more comfortable to tell you. Yeah. Because I can imagine it comes from some people might have an idea or an opinion, and they might find it difficult to then go to the organisers and say, I think we've got, like, for example, like we got feedback last year, and some of it's constructive. And this is the same as every competition. This is not just us. I think you get some constructive feedback and you get some feedback that you think, okay, I can't really use that, to tell you the truth. And because again, there's a lot of guys just see the tip of the iceberg, but I think guys like athletes that go to a lot of competitions, or even spectators or coaches that have been to a lot of competitions or been in CrossFit, in the CrossFit world for a lot longer, generally those are the guys that we would listen to who might be able to give some kind of good feedback moving forward.
Yeah, great. And then we will talk about a little bit about the adaptive athlete section that we've got this year.
Yeah. So the adaptive athletes has probably been my favorite part of the whole competition, to tell you the truth. Like, I mean, the first year, 2022, first individuals, I was petrified because I didn't want to get, it was kind of down to us to do the programming. We spoke to some guy from CrossFit, I can't remember his name, Alex, really nice guy. He helped us do the programming, and I think we had 4 adaptive athletes at the time. Just 4? Yeah, so which 4 was enough for us really, because it was a brand new thing for us. And we were petrified about the whole competition in general, let alone letting the adaptive athletes down really. It was our biggest worry. And but anyway, they were all so cool. I loved it. I spent a lot of time with them, and in the end, each workout, I sat down with them and asked if they felt comfortable with the workouts. And whether they needed to adapt anything, or whether they were cool doing the workout like that. And yeah, they were just brilliant to be around. I loved it. Did you find that you had to change anything? We had to change quite a bit. It was a fine line between, because sometimes the athletes were telling us what they wanted to do. So it's like, I wasn't really in a position at the time that they couldn't do that. Yeah. So a lot of the time that was the case, but a lot of the time it was, I just kind of had to trust that they knew what their capabilities were. And this year we're going to have help from Carl from Adapt Eon All or Nothing. So he's a really nice guy. I've had a few meets with him already. He's coming over, and I think he's bringing a small team over, and his thing is to work with adaptive athletes. So he's going to take control of our adaptive division this year. Where's he coming over from, sorry? He's from England, from south of England, somewhere, I'm not too sure. Oh, nice. And then how did we connect with him? I can't remember. Did he reach out? Yeah, he reached out to us maybe. So he worked with a lot of the adaptive athletes in the UK. And we had like Jules, Charlie, James. Who else did we have from the UK? That might have been it actually. But anyway, he worked with those guys. And he's a really nice guy, so he's coming out this year to come and help us to take control. And it's not because, again, I loved working with them. Last year I loved working with them, but they deserve and they need to have somebody who knows what they're talking about. Specialised, of course. 100%. So he's going to come over and do that for us, which is brilliant. So at least we know that they're going to be well taken care of. Which is awesome. Awesome. We will hope to do a special episode dedicated to the adaptive athletes and hopefully interview some of the adaptive athletes for the year ahead. Yes, Jules is our next victim. So we quickly want to do a shout out to all the volunteers as well, all the hard work that goes into the volunteers. They make the competition. They do. It's a cliche, but the volunteers are unbelievable. And to begin with, it was a lot of the guys from CrossFit Marbella, and we've got like a full team here that give up so much time. It's nuts. But then obviously we get like a lot of guys outside of CrossFit Marbella who come and help us, and it's a cliche, but without those guys it would be impossible. So we're forever grateful, and we want to try and create like an experience for those guys where they really look forward to the competition, and they don't feel like it's slave labor or like a weekend of torture. When you're in the sun, it's fine. Everyone's happy. Without them, I mean, honestly, some of them give up like a week of their time, if not even the guys who give up a few hours a day. They've got like families, small kids, they've got jobs, whatever, but they're always happy to help out, which is unbelievable. So we'll try and make the experience better than year on year. And then if anybody does want to volunteer, come along, like you said, people bring their whole families along and come for a family. So
if you're coming over from England or
Yeah,
America or wherever,
100%.
you can bring your
Yeah.
family along, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
volunteer. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Even if it's just for like a day or so, or a few hours or whatever.
Yeah,
Else.
and it's
Yeah.
more inclusive, and it creates that those morals of CrossFit that's everybody's engaged, everyone's a family, you know, real sense of community
Yeah.
here.
Absolutely.
Well, we will be speaking to you again. I think that summarizes. We've covered quite a lot there,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
We've
yeah,
covered
yeah.
quite a lot.
Yeah, I've got a lot more to say, but anyway, for now, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so we will be speaking to you again in a few episodes ahead, you know,
Brilliant.
to release some more teasers, get people engaged with what's going on with the championship.
Brilliant. It sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Well, thank you for your first podcast episode.
Thank you,
with
Jess. I
us.
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks.